Hi guys, it's Emily from Nobel Novels and welcome to today's video. This is my rereads for 2025. Now, I briefly spoke on my plans for 2025 about the things that I wanted to do next year, and I think I spoke about it a little bit in my end of year tag. So I just thought I would do a special video on showing you the 12 books that I plan to reread next year and explain a little bit about why I'm doing it. Now, sorry, I've just realised I've got a little bit of blanket in the background. I'm not as organised. Anyway, rambling. Basically, as you would have well seen, I have a lot more read books than unread. And I've been looking at my shelves. I've got stacks in different places that I want to move around. I want to go through my books and work out which ones I really want to keep and which ones that I don't necessarily want to keep. So that is part of the reason for doing this. Another reason is that I wanted to reread some of my favourites. So some of these books are books that I know I want to keep because they're by authors I like, but I want to revisit them because I think I need a reminder that it's okay to reread books. And I've been so focused over the last few years on getting my unread number down, because my unread number was a bit out of control at one point. It was like similar kind of level to my read books. And now I've got that number down by a considerable amount, and I don't need to focus on keep dropping it every month. So because of that, I'm going to take the pressure off myself. And it doesn't mean I necessarily want my numbers to go up by loads, but if they go up by 1 or 2 a month, I'm not going to get stressed anymore. I want to reread some books. I want to reread and find love. Some of these books are books, I think I decided that I would only reread 2 classics because they're like small classics and classics that I really, really love and I want to reread because I really want to revisit them. And then I've got 4 historical fiction. I think one of these is by an author that I love and I know that I'm going to keep, but there's a reason for that and I'll explain that there. But I've got 3 other ones I'm not sure about, and one of them, yeah, I'll go into detail about that. I've got 2 fantasies. One I know I'm keeping, and then one I'm not sure about. And then I've got 4 contemporaries. And out of those 4 contemporaries, there is only one that is a definite keep, and then the other 3 are going to be ones that are going to give me some ideas about what to do with some of the other authors. So yeah, I'll go into details. I'm rambling a lot, but then hey ho, I thought I would do this with a Christmas jumper on because Vicky gave me a Christmas jumper. And the next video I film, when I do my TBR jar, I'm going to do a Christmas jumper because it's like end of year videos. Why not include Christmas jumpers? So actually, I'm just remembering that I can actually don't need to be seeing the titles of these books when I'm doing this. I just needed it while I was writing them out because I have already planned what month I'm doing this because I like structure. Okay, I really, really like structure. So I've planned what month I'm rereading these now so I can put them into my booktube planner for next year. I've already got sneaky peek, as you can see, January is pretty much already. So I've got my buddy reads in here, I've got my readathons, I've got my seasonal books which are decided for January. Series books, they're not necessarily decided. I've chosen most of my January TBR already. I then will put my reread book in. I've then already put my Agatha book in. And I've put my classics book in. So I am quite organised. I like to be structured. And also that is going to help because in July, it's in June, we're going to do Joyriding June, where you will see the books that are on those lists, not the seasonal books, but the books that are on those lists. And that will be it. That will be the only TBR I will have in June because I'm going to joyride and I'm not going to have a set TBR. And I think we're all doing that in honour of Alice. So that will be a big thing for June. It'll be the first time in 6 years that I'm not setting a proper structural TBR. Obviously there'll be a few because I can't break my tradition completely. But that is going to be as much as I'm going to be. Right, I'm rambled. Let's show you the books. So the first book I will be rereading is The Warren by Anthony Trollope. And I don't actually think I'm rereading this in October for Victo, but I think I'm going to reread that different, either before or after, because it's the start of the Barchester Chronicles, that Barchester series, which I read a few years ago. And I liked the series, but I found I loved the first book and I liked the second one. But actually, even though this will be a reread, it doesn't count on my numbers because I bought the copy after I'd read a copy from the library. So that's not going to dip my numbers. That's not why I'm doing it. It's because purely and simply I wanted to reread this. because I really enjoyed the Warren the most, actually. I thought that was actually my favourite book. The fact that it is less than 200 pages works for me really well, and I really enjoyed it. It's literally about the census on the Reverend Harding and his youngest daughter Eleanor. It tells with gentle humour and subtle satire the moral dilemma he faces when accused of living off funds that should be distributed to the almshouse, which he has been appointed warden. I really loved this the first time around, and I really wanted to revisit that. Excuse me. Then one of my new booktube friends on here, and I will link her channel down below. I've not forgotten it. I will link your channel down below. She is rereading Anne of Green Gables. I will link it. And in September, and although I don't plan to reread the whole series over the next year, like I read the Anne of Green Gables series another couple of 2 or 3 years ago. I reread it, so this will be like would have been read 3 times. But Anne of Green Gables is one of my favourite classics of all time. I want my own pretty copy of it. I'll put it on my Amazon wishlist, and that'll be for a reminder of myself that maybe before I reread this, I'm going to buy myself a really pretty copy, because this is a battered copy. And Anne of Green Gables is probably one of my favourite books of all time, so that is the reason why I'm rereading it. We all know Anne of Green Gables. Anne apparently is I'm a lot like Anne. I'm flighty. I was certainly flighty as a child, getting up into loads of mischief, totally and utterly crazy. Some of the silly things she does are crazy, but I love it. I also love this. This is where we meet Marilla and Matthew, the people that look after her. We meet her best friend. This is just one of the best books of all time, and I cannot wait to reread that in September. So that is the one that I'm telling you is going to be read in September. The other ones I'm not. I think I've got one more, I'm telling you which month. Then this is a wartime series that I collected a year or 2 ago. Again, most of these books have been read like a couple of years ago. And this is the East End Angels. And it's a big 4-book series, but I've not wanted to reread the series since I bought it. So I need to know if I'm going to reread it or whether I don't need to keep it, because I've got another I've got at least another 2 or 3 wartime series. So obviously I've got to keep the next author, Elaine Everest, all of her books. I've done the Opera Room Girl series by Vicky Beebe, which I will check in on probably the year after this. And I've got another series by Vicky Beebe that I'm collecting. And I've got, I think, another 1 or 2 other series that I've got. And I want to know, this one is the one that I've chosen to reread for this. And it's about strong-willed Winnie loves to be part of the crew at Station 25. But her parents are less happy. She's managed to avoid their plans to join the Irens, but so far. But when tragedy hits too close to home, she finds herself wondering if she's really cut out for this life at all. And you've got Bella, who is a former housemaid and forced to leave the place she loved when she lost it all. And it's taken her a while to find somewhere to call home. She's finally starting to build a new life, but when air raids begin, she might have to start all over again. And then you've got EastEnder Frankie, whose sense of loyalty keeps her tied to the home, which is not easy for her to stay focused at work. With her head and heart pulling in different directions, will she find the strength to come through for her friends? Really looking forward to rereading this book, and it'll either start me off rereading the whole series, or I will DNF, or I will get rid of unhaul the series. So I will either do that and then reread all the series, or I'll do that. So I'm not sure yet which one. Actually, give me time. Right. And then a book that I wanted to reread because purely and simply, see, Elaine Everest, she passed away this year, and that was another one of the tragic losses this year. We've lost loads of famous people, and we obviously lost one of my best friends. But losing this author, I know it sounds really silly how this sort of losing her did set me up a little bit. But she's got her last book. I thought her latest book that I'm rereading this month in December was her last published book. There isn't. There is another one coming out next year. So I wanted to reread the first one she's written in honour of her, and purely and simply because I love this series. It's just crying to think that that she won't be putting any more out for it. And this is the first book in the series. Don't get me wrong, there is a prequel to this called A Mother Forever, and then there is other books she's written. But this is where we meet Sarah Castleton, who is preparing for a new job at Woolworths. But before long, she forms a tight bond with 2 of her colleagues, glamorous Maisie and shy Frida. The trio couldn't be more different, but they immediately form a close-knit bond. sharing the hopes and dreams of the future. Sarah soon falls with the rhythm of the new position, enjoying social events hosted by Woolies and a blossoming romance with the young assistant manager Alan. With the threat of war looming, the war clouding over the horizon, the young men and women of Woolworths realise there are bigger battles ahead. It's going to be emotional to reread that. Then I've got a book that I listened to on audio. I've been a bit hit and miss with this author, Jessie Burton, but I listened to the Confession on audiobook. So when I picked up, I saw this beautiful copy for, what is a beautiful copy? In a charity shop. I thought I wanted a physical copy. So yes, this will not go down on my numbers, but it will be a reread because obviously I read it for an audiobook. And this is about when Elise Morso meets the writer Constance Holden. She quickly falls under her spell. Connie is sophisticated, bold and alluring, and everything Elise feels she's not. She follows Connie to LA, but the city of strange dreams and razzle-dazzle. Elise feels more out of her depth and makes an impulsive decision that will change her life forever. 3 decades later, Rose Simmons is trying to uncover the story of her mother, who disappeared when she was a baby. Having learnt that the last person to see her was now a reclusive novelist, Rose finds herself at the door of Constance Holden's house in search of a confession. Really looking forward to rereading that one. And then to a book that was a favourite of a couple of years ago, and this won the Women's... Oh, God. So this won the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2024, and I'm rereading it 5 years later. I think I read this in 2021. I think I read it 2021 or 2022. I can't remember. I think it was either 2021 or 2022. And obviously Hamnet is not the lead character in this book. There is a different narrator. But no, Shakespeare is not the main character in this. Shakespeare's not mentioned, not by name, but we obviously know Shakespeare's in this. On a hot summer's day in 1596, a young girl in Stratford-upon-Avon takes it to her bed with a sudden fever. Her twin brother Hamnet searches for help. Why is no one at home? Their mother Agnes is over a mile away in a garden where she grows medicinal herbs, and their father is working in London. Neither parents know that Hamnet will not survive the week. It's really Hamnet inspired. It was a favourite book of a few years ago though, and I don't know if I want to keep it or not keep it or what. Because like I said, it was amazing. I remember it won loads of awards. It didn't just win the Women's Prize, I think it won other awards. I want to see if I still love it. I really want to see if I still have that passion for it. So actually, those can go there. And then to a book that I'm straight away telling you I'm reading in January, because the next book in this series is coming out in January, at the end of January, which I'll be reading in March. And this is Forging Silver in Stars, and this is the first of a newer series by Bridget Kemner. So she didn't publish anything last year, but I think she published this year. I think she published 2 the year before, and this was one of those. Bridget Kemner is one of my favourite fantasy authors. She was the one that got me into fantasy, and obviously A Curse of Dark and Lonely is one of my favourite books of all time. But I decided to reread this so that I remembered what was happening, because our other series she wrapped up last year, and this is connected to the Curse of Dark and Lonely series, not the Defy the Night series, but it's a standalone. But it's the start of another series basically. And so this is in ancient magic. Magic has been banished for the kingdom of Sael Shallow for as long as Jax can remember. Now times are changing and magic has returned in the form of the new Mage Smith King on the poem. But magic won't save Jax or his best friend Callan when the tax collector comes calling. Jax and Callan are desperate enough to take a stranger's silver and an aid to an anti-magical plot against the king, until Jax develops feelings for the king's courier, handsome Lord Tycho, who we met in Curse of Dark and Lonely series, a man desperate to discover who conspired against the throne. And a dark fate. Suddenly Jax and Callan are embroiled in a world of shifting alliances, dangerous flirtations, and age-old magic. I can't wait to revisit this in January. I don't know if I might even start the month with it, even though it's mahoosive. It's like, I think it's over 500 pages, but I can't wait to revisit that. And then to my next fantasy, which is The Girl Who Speaks Bear. I don't actually have The House with Chicken Legs, but I've got a few other books by this author. But I found that a lot of her books are very similar. I haven't read her more newer one, The Snow Girl, because I think Chatty didn't love it as much. But I loved The House with Chicken Legs. The Girl Who Speaks Bear is one that I want to revisit and see if I like it, because I sort of gradually loved her books less the more I read of them. They called me Yanka the bear, not because of where I was found, only a few people know about that. Found abandoned in his care in a bear cave as a baby, Yanka has always wondered where she's from. She tries to ignore the strange whispers and looks from the villagers, wishing she was as strong as inside as she was on the outside. When Yanka flees to her house, looking for answers about who she really is, a journey is far beyond anything she ever imagined to begin. Just look, I loved it. I did really love this the first time around, so I'm hoping I really love it again. Now for my 4 contemporaries. Now the first one is an author that I started off and I got all her books and I've not reread any of them. And she's had 2 or 3 more books out since over the last few years. And I think I bought one of them, but I've not bought the other ones. So I think I just needed to know if I want to keep buying her or whether she was part of a hype of what was on a few years ago when I was writing. And I've gone for The Love Square. I haven't got the Hour Stop, which was her first book, but I don't remember why I could pick The Love Square, but I did. I've chosen this one out of all of them. So this will be the one that I reread this, and if I like it, I'll keep her other books. Actually, there's one that I'm definitely keeping, The Love Struck, because I've got a pretty copy of it. But her other ones, I've got 2 other ones that if I don't necessarily love this, I will probably I might just try a chapter on them and then get rid of them if I don't want to keep them. And this is about, she's single, but it can be complicated. Penny Bridge has always been unlucky in love, but a change in circumstances sees her stepping into a new life in a new town, where the last thing she expects is to meet another remarkable man, followed by another, and then another. All of them want to date her. Penny has to choose between 3, but will any of them be the one? It's not drawing me, so I'm hoping I like it. It's not drawing me necessarily into loving it. It doesn't. I don't know why now, whether my tastes have changed, but wait and see. Then I've got about 1 million Jenny Colgan books, and I realised that I don't need all of the series. Last year I got rid of the Rosie Hopkins series, but I've got room on my shelf, and it could do with clearing it, because although I like Jenny Colgan's books, she's got a lot of series. And do I need to keep all of them? I don't know. But this one is the first one in a trilogy, and this is A Little Shop of Happily Ever After. And then I think it's literally just, it goes to this one, The Little Beach Street Bakery, and then the Summer at the Little Beach Street Bakery. I think that's the series, but I can't remember. But I will double check, obviously, nearer the time. And this is about Nina, who is a bookworm who dreams of running her own little bookshop. But no, it isn't those series, that's the other series. This is the Bookshop on the Shore series, I think. Nina is a bookworm who dreams of running her own little bookshop, but real life is a bit trickier than stories. Nina loves, as she discovers when she moves to the beautiful Highlands of Scotland, to turn her dreams into reality. This actually does look good. So it might actually be the start of me going, okay, maybe I need to check the other series. And that's what I might do. If I like this series, maybe I'll go and check one of her other series and work out if I want to keep. So if I decide that I want to keep this series, I'll go and check out the other series. This is what I mean. This is giving me some ideas about what I want to keep and what I don't want to keep. Because if I really love this, then that whole series can be kept. And then I'll go and check the first and next series. And it will mean I have to reread them. But look, God, this one's so dusty. I need to go and get my paintbrush that we've got for our books. Right, you can dust them. I think I do need a big shelf. That's what I've got to do next year. I've got to do a big shelf dusting. I've got to take all my books off the shelves and dust them all. I need to get a paintbrush. That's what we use at Bath Books. So that one's going to be red. I can't remember when I said this one. I'm not telling you. I'm going to put it away. Then to a book that I am going to be rereading, because and this one is the first one I'm keeping, and this is The Secret Seaside Escape. Sneaky peek, I will tell you actually that I will be reading this in May for the Spoonies Readathon, because it's got a Spoonies rep in it, and I may well drag a friend or 2 into reading this. And this is Heidi Swain's first book in it. At the moment she's got 2 in this series, but the 3rd is coming out for the summer, so I'm going to reread the first one, and then maybe I'll find the second. Maybe I'll reread the second one as well. But I'm certainly rereading this. It's got disability rep in it. Heidi Swain is probably one of my all-time favourite authors. I've got all of her books to reread because I love her. And when I went on a big mission, I think it was last year or the year before last again, I reread all of Paige Toon's books. So I want to gradually reread Heidi Swain's books. Heidi Swain is also one of the nicest authors you could ever meet because she's lovely. And I've not met her, but you know what I mean, I speak to her on Instagram. She's absolutely sweet. And this is Tess Tyler needs a break. Weighed down by her high-pressure job and her demanding father, she's left little time to take care of herself. But after a shocking discovery sends her spiralling, she flees Weymouth, the seaside town she's much in love with. She flees to Weymouth, the seaside town she fell in love with as a child, and in need of much-needed relaxation. With its sandy beaches and stunning rock pools and welcoming community, Tess finds that she can finally breathe again, and she grows ever closer to her local barman Sam. She dares to dream she might never return to her real life. But when a familiar face returns to town, Tess realises that there are secrets in Weymouth too, and the past might catch up to her. Cannot wait to reread that. And then lastly, a book this is the sequel to P.S. I Love You, but I never kept P.S. I Love You. So did I only keep this because it's a pretty hardback? I don't necessarily know if I need to reread it. I'm going to reread it, but the fact that I've not got P.S. I Love You, and the fact that I only kept it because I've got a pretty copy, but other people might be collecting her books, and I can give them away to the charity shop. But yeah, and it might also be nice to revisit this, because P.S. I Love You obviously broke everyone into a million pieces. And this is about after. It's been 7 years since Holly Kennedy's husband died. 6 since she read his final letter, urging Holly to find courage and to forge a new life. She's proud of all the ways in which she's grown and evolved, but when a group inspired by Jerry's letters, calling themselves the P.S. I Love You Club, approaches Holly asking for help, she finds herself drawn back to a world she worked so hard to leave behind. Reluctantly, Holly begins a relationship with the club, even as their friendship threatens to destroy the peace she believes she's achieved. As each of these people call upon Holly to help them leave something meaningful behind for their loved ones, Holly will embark on a remarkable journey, one that will challenge her to ask whether embracing the future means betraying the past. So let's see what this one does. If obviously I don't want to keep this one, then I'm going to have room on my on that bottom shelf for another book. And this is what I mean. I need to make room for new books now, because I think, why not? Revisit. Are any of you guys, so I've got to think of an emoji, and I didn't even think about this. Hearts emojis, I'd always do that, don't I? I'll tell you what, do a backwards arrow, or do an arrow, because I'm looking back. So yeah, do the backwards arrow emoji if you got to the end of this video. That'd be good. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you reread your books? Are there any of these you want to reread with me? Are there any of these books you know, do you want to talk to me about? Do you, like I said, mainly, do you guys actually want to read? Do you guys reread your books, or do you, like, once you've read them once, do you just unhaul them? I unhaul a lot of my books. Like, if I don't think I'm going to want to reread a book, I will unhaul it. But there's obviously reasons why I've kept these or bought my own physical copy. But I want to revisit and find what I love. I hope you guys are looking well. Next video is going to be my wrap-up part 1. And then we've got the TBR jar. You're going to see the TBR jar coming up soon. But I hope you all have a good day. I hope you all had a good week or whatever else. I can't remember when this exactly is going up. But take care, everyone. Love you all. Bye bye. Oh, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, not subscribe, bring on my ding-a-ling, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.